welcome to join later, or maybe they will have a look this workshop in the recording. Irina, I would ask you kindly to start recording. So the topic of our today discussion will be budgeting. Budgeting for the international expansion. And I will share my experience and our company experience of optimization costs in different business development strategies and channels, etc. So whenever you will have any questions, feel free to either interrupt me or put it in chat message or just raise up a hand so I can make a pause and we can discuss it. So let's try to do this interactive. First of all, I will tell a couple of words about myself. My name is Arina. I'm an engineer by my first degree, but I used to work always in sales and marketing and business development. And especially I was working always in global business development or international business development. So I'm doing this for like over 20 years actually right now, because I started to work in the university. So in 2003, 2013, I used to work as a hired manager in different medium-sized and sometimes big companies as a global sales director or export manager or international business development. I was working a lot with different regions. Actually, I was working a lot with Europe, especially I was managing like our German office for one of the employees of mine. And then I was working with US and with South America as well, and with Asia and with China. So actually globally, really. During this period of my career, I experienced several difficulties actually. First of all, of course, the difficulty was in time, because when you are responsible for the business development, or especially international business development, you have in your hands the whole world, and you need somehow to manage it and to balance it. And that means that you have, I don't know, 10, 15, 30 countries in hands. Even if you prioritize it before, still you need somehow to manage visiting these countries, help customers or partners, and the time was one of my biggest problem during the time of being export manager. And then the second biggest challenge was kind of language and mentality differences in some countries. Like as an example, I'm not German, by my origin, but I was doing business development for German market, for DACH market a lot. And me personally, I'm not speaking German. And I was in the very beginning, was trying to enter the German market with English, and it's really not working. So the same with China, the same with Brazil, the same with France, it's a separate story. So the second challenge of myself was that for the door opening, I was extremely needed a person who is on spot, who is there, who is locally native in the particular country which I'm targeting for. So that is why actually in 2011, even a bit earlier, I came up to the idea of founding my own company, which called GloBAS International, and where I'm working right now. That's like my passion to work for this area. And we are doing international business development services. And we are having the local and native representatives in the number of regions, like in Germany, in Middle East, in France, in Italy, in China, in US, in UK. And we are helping global sales managers or export managers to have their own people on spot and help them to use their time effectively to delegate to someone this opening the door process, and to make it more effective, because my project managers, they are speaking the same language as the people in the different country. So also except this, I have founded another company which called GloBAS Engineering. There we are distributor of the engineering software solutions, very niche, very narrow. So I understand also the business from the channel sales as well, because I do have also my own company who are distributor. I'm also an MBA tutor and independent consultant, and I've done dozens of projects in many, many countries. So enough about myself. Let's go straight to the topic and discuss the plan for today. I'm not a finance person, yeah, I'm not the accountant, I'm not the financial director, etc. I will talk very simple words about how you can optimize your costs when you are going abroad, how you can optimize the budget for the company when you do the globalization. And I will share my practical experience and advices, what is working, what is not working, what is worth investments, and what, on my opinion, okay, not worth investments. So let's do it like, very practical, but don't expect a lot of figures here. So first we will talk about the international business development timing, when it makes sense to start internationalization in order not to waste a lot of money, afterwards for changing things. Second, what are the options in general? How you can go international? There are a lot of options, so which are they? Then we will talk about the globalization from home. Like if you are sitting in your headquarter company and trying to sell somewhere in another part of the world, from your home country. Then we will talk about establishing a subsidiary, another, different thing. And then we will talk a little bit about using the local agents, sales partners, dealers, resellers, distributors. Is it working? When does it working? Does it make sense to do? Not make sense? And then we will finalize with little tips regarding the balancing and how to make return on investments for internationalization as soon as possible. That's what everybody wants. So let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the timing. We are working with different companies. Some of them are just startups, just starting to release and scale their project or product or whatever. But also we used to work and we are still working with like a medium-sized companies who are already, some of them already like 100 years old. And I can see the difference sometimes. So here we have the life cycle of the product, the traditional curve. Sometimes it is also represented by BCG matrix, but whatever. Every project or product or company or business idea have its own curve and life cycle. So if we are talking about the opportunity of internationalization, to make the long story short, sorry, I will make it full screen, just didn't do it from the very beginning. So my recommendation is to make it somewhere here. So if you are a kind of company who are just starting up, it is always easier that you have in mind that your product or service or project will be available globally earlier than later. Because, I explain you why. Because when you are thinking about the international options in the beginning of the product development, on the growth stage of the company, then you can, from the very beginning, put in the product features which aimed to serve different countries, different languages, different, features. And originally, you put it in the core of the product. I will tell you example, it will be easier. I used to work as an export manager, global business development director for a big enterprise in the computer-aided design solution. This is a company like 30 years old. So they started in 1980 from one local country with one local language. And they were very successful, and they were like on the maturity level with their product in their home country, when they decided to go abroad for whatever reason, And then I came to the project. And what has happened? The first half year of time, actually even more, maybe 1 year of time, we spent not on sales, not on any return. We only spent on the process how to adjust the existing maturity product to the foreign markets. Because, I mean, the easiest thing, it have not had the languages, it has not been translated. The product itself, it was a software, but whatever, you know. There was no team in the headquarters who could somehow, you know, serve the international audience. So when they hired key staff, like, I don't know, technical support or some, I don't know, maybe marketing manager, they have had no idea how does it work internationally. They only have an idea of local, you know, market. And then the product has not been compared to the international competitors. So when I came to the project and started with the competition analysis globally, it turned out that the product have a particular difficulties with competing, you know, to their, like for instance, German computer-aided design products. So the first year we spent a lot of time and a lot of money just to redone this product and adjust it to the international market. So that is why the very first advice, especially for those who are startups, please choose the right time. And if you think that your ambitions can be globally, you just put the basic functionality both in your product. Here we see the development team, yeah? R&D flexibility, open for the new ideas, and a little scratch and overview of the global market. And to the team, so when you choose who will join your team, you better tick, you know, knowing at least 2 languages, you know, to be able to communicate or manage international business as well. It will save you a lot of budget further on. Then marketing, of course, also better to do marketing synchronized, both for the local region and somehow to internationally. Otherwise, you will need to have 2 marketing teams, pay for, you know, double for marketing manager local, marketing manager international, and that makes things very much complicated. So my advice, please, if possible, start at the beginning stage. That will save money a lot in future. So let's move to another topic, international business development options. What is happening here? We have the company, manufacturer, or service provider, because normally who are going abroad? It's either manufacturer company or vendor company with some particular, I don't know, product or customized product or whatever, or it's a service provider. I used to have an experience, and I know the cases for distributors who also developed globally, but that's kind of exceptions, more than exceptions than a rule. So we will talk about manufacturer or service provider. And then there are end customer here, and customer globally. What are generally the options of going to this customer, of bringing your product or service to this end customer in any part of the world? Let's consider this a little bit in details because it's important. We will come back to this scheme, to this diagram later on. So first, that's direct sales. So let's imagine that UI company sitting in UK, in London, producing some, I don't know, spare parts of the software, and you are targeting globally, I don't know, maybe Middle East, maybe China, maybe Germany even, and you put a manager in your headquarters in London, maybe German speaking, hopefully, maybe just English speaking, you know, everybody should speak English, as somebody thinks. And you tell him, okay, you sell internationally. You just search companies and sell directly from our London office internationally. That's one option. That's called direct sales, direct proactive sales. It could be, yeah, from home when you put the person in your headquarters and they are responsible for outgoing, you know, calls, emails, and generating the leads. Or direct sales also could be subsidiaries. The second way, you establish a subsidiary, you establish a GmbH in Germany, pay like, how much is it? I don't know, 25,000 for the share capital, and then put a team there, and then, you know, you have a subsidiary to access, again, with the direct sales, local customers. Another option is a channel sales, when you hire a particular third parties, let's call it sales partners, in different countries, and they are doing this job on behalf of you. Sales partners, they can be called agents, resellers, dealers, value-added resellers, distributors, system integrators, OEM, whatever we call them. That's sales partners. That's independent companies, sometimes individuals, but that's another story, which almost never works, which get commissions for their work and which approach end customers in their particular regions. That's an interesting story, actually. And then how can you reach customers? By other way, you can make customers come to you. If you are aware about the concept of push and pull strategy, the sales, the proactive approach when we go to the customers, it's a push strategy. And another approach when we make customer come to us, that's a pull strategy. When we generate something so interesting on our website, or we exhibit at the fairs, or we do some social networking, and then customers from all over the world, they come to you, to your headquarters or to your subsidiary or whatever, and tell, okay, yes, I want your product. How can we work? So another option, you do these things. Let's consider it step by step. So let's consider first the option in terms of the financial involvement, globalization from home. So globalization from your headquarters. So let's turn back to our example. You are sitting in London, for instance, and targeting European market, for example, Germany, DACH, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, Italy, Eastern Europe, maybe let's say from UK you want to expand to Europe. And then let's consider the option with a push strategy with direct sales from home, when you are doing everything from your headquarters. What are the resources which you will need? It's very simple to count. I will show you later. You can create the same Excel sheet by your own with your figures. But you count development, R&D team, who is understanding the requirements of the European market. It might be different. If we are talking about the German market, they are very much adapted about the local developers, and then you need to compete with them as well. So your R&D team should be ready to adjust the product to the different markets. So they need to understand here and be flexible enough to do it. Then support team. Well, I mean, of course, it is possible to have just English-speaking support, but there might be adults. I mean, France, can you imagine France? Normal French customers speaking English to support somewhere in UK? Well, just if they really, really need it. Otherwise, it will be a challenge. So ideally, your support team should speak the language of your customer, those people who are sitting in your office in London, in our example. And we shall consider localization, maybe. So then sales. Exactly the people who will do sales. You need to have somebody who's managing sales, like sales director, and you need to have sales manager. And there is a sales manager. We have again the same questions. At least which languages do they speak? Sitting in your, headquarters. And then marketing as well. If you are selling from home, your marketing should be eligible to speak different languages and to create the proper marketing materials for the particular target countries abroad. How is it possible to do from the home market? To be honest, I have no idea, because at least people do not have the feeling of another country. And how is it possible to create a strategy when you are sitting in your headquarters, in your home office, and trying to reach the country several thousands kilometers away with a different mentality, etc. So for me, this way, globalization from home with a proactive sales from headquarters is really, really doubtful. But still, I made some calculations, and these are just examples. These calculations are done based on the average one person costs for company based in, say, in Western Europe somewhere, in Germany. So for optimization of our international budget, we need to count in each case, separately. But let's use this example, for instance. Home sales experience. What will it mean to us? Let's go here from the second thing first, because we just talked about the proactive approach. So let's start from here. So you need to have sales manager, right? Who will do proactive sales. He has some cost per month, like say, maybe, you can correct me, by the way, if I'm wrong, because I just put, very average figures, like 4,000 euro per month, for instance, because we need sales manager who understand a little and who can do communication properly. Then you need marketing manager, okay, the same. Then the minimum team, let's consider. There is a sales director or somebody who is managing the strategic, issues, a supervisor. Then there should be a support manager who is answering well, our company mostly is working in the high-tech sector. So most of our clients, they have a lot of, technical support issues, sometimes implementation issues. That's why I'm using this, support structure as well. But in most of the companies, even if you are doing just simple product, somebody should take care about the after-sale questions if they arise. Then, if you're sitting in Europe, there is a taxes, a huge amount of taxes and everything. And then you need to pay a little bit for some applications for doing the calls, and for I don't know, using some other things like LinkedIn Primary or whatever. And yeah, so we got the average sum per month and we got the average sum per year. And then there is a marketing thing. There is exhibiting at least one per year in some target region. And 10,000, that's quite a lot. Actually, normally they cost like, I don't know, 20, 30,000 minimum. And then visiting, at least 4 visits, let's count from the headquarters to the target countries globally. Normally that's more actually. When I was working as export manager, every month I was somewhere. So like more than 60% of my time was in traveling. So here I really put minimum, and let's see how it costs, how much it will cost you, everything. If you just decide to sell from home, from 350K euro minimum. And then let's count if you want to scale. Let's assume that these sales managers who are sitting in the headquarters in London, selling to Germany and to Europe, works good. Let's say you are targeting 1,000 customers, and the manager, maybe he's very good and he can do 500 cold contacts per period, some period, whatever. And then let's imagine that your conversion rate is amazing and he is converting like almost half of these 500. I can hardly imagine, but whatever. And he's doing like 70 quotes and he gets some amount of customers, some amount of sales. But what I'm trying to say, for example, he bring like, I don't know, 5, 10 customers. You need to scale. You have dozens of countries, dozens of regions. You have the whole world was internationalization. And just one sales manager who actually can only manage 40 hours per week in average. His business hours, that's it. He cannot do more. No matter how big the target audience is, you can, prioritize it, whatever, but that's the limit for one sales manager from home. 40 hours per week, that's it, maximum, plus holidays, plus, everything, vacations. If you want more, okay, you need to take the figure from here and multiply it to the number of sales managers. So you need to scale your team at home, or you need to create something new. By the way, here it's written like, do you use CRM solution? Do you know your pipeline? Have you ever counted your sales funnel? I would strongly recommend to do this exercise. It gives a very good understanding how many you can, how many prospects you can work out and how you can scale further on. So instead of this, I would really recommend to use the pull strategy. So somehow to make customers come to you, because otherwise you just need to multiply sales managers, and that's really expensive. So what is needed to be done, on my opinion, the minimum resources? You need to have a website with the target languages, with a very simple approach to let customer or potential customer understand what you are selling, what you are suggesting in just 5 seconds. Time is critical now. The customers come to the website, you do not understand from the very first glance what it is there, you just leave. You need to do minimum SEO, absolute minimum, because SEO, it cannot, search engine optimization, you cannot evaluate, it's very hard. But at least minimum engine optimization, meta tags, etc. It's better to be done. And then updates, at least one use for 2 weeks or one use per week, it allows your website to raise up. And if you provide a really good product to the target audience, it can bring customers to you. Then I would really recommend to pay attention to the social network like LinkedIn, maybe a lot of popularity in different regions, some professional associations, and then we will talk about fairs and exhibitions. There are some issues about it, but let's go one by one. Website, as I told, definitely you need to have English. I mean, that's the number one language. If you are thinking about internationalization, it should be English. The website should be opened in English language, and there should be a clear tag with the languages of the regions which you are targeting at. Then again, 5 seconds to stay or leave for the customer. So there are a lot of tips how to place the content at your website, etc. But for instance, when I'm coming to the new website and I do dozens of conference calls with the new clients per month, this is how I prepare. I come to the website, I look either here on the first sentence. If I do not understand, and in 60% of time I do not understand what they are doing. Very few companies have a very clear website. So if not, actually, I go to the tag about us, and many people, they forget about it and write some like blah 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 in about us. No, just do it simple. Make it simple. Clearly write what you are suggesting. And especially in this section about us, it should describe what you are doing to let potential customers who visited your website stay there and understand, and then come to you and ask you for some explanations of all the meetings. Okay, customer-friendly navigation, it should have some updates, and search engine optimization, I would just suggest to hire administrator of the website and just make him or her, fill correctly these meta tags. If you are using WordPress, for instance, just put it there. And the easy side do not equal bad. I mean, the easier website is, sometimes it's, better, because people now do not have time. They are just running all the time, and they need to understand very quickly whether you are a good project or product or service to buy, and they would like to continue or not. Very simple test, which I'm doing all the time when I'm hiring a new employee or whatever. It's killing two birds by one stone. Ask your job applicant or any person which are not involved to have a look quickly at your website and tell what's your company doing. It's a very good test if your website is good or not. This section has nothing to do, like, maybe with the finance. But if you use it and if you set it up from the very beginning in the right way, it will save you a lot of budget. That's why I'm talking about this. Social networks and PR, okay, they're really networking zoo. I don't know how to tell it another way, because we have dozens of different social networks: LinkedIn, YouTube, Xing, WeChat, Facebook, number of professional associations of any kind, trade chambers, local forums, what to use. So do the list for your target regions. When you do internationalization, you more or less know where you want to go, right? Either it's whole world or you somehow prioritize. So create this list of the potential social network there, which are kind of must and priority, and do it and don't neglect it. I mean, for instance, if we are talking about LinkedIn, yeah, let's take it as an example. Company profile, to establish company profile there, it's free of charge. Ask all your employees to subscribe there, it's free of charge. Ask your marketing manager to put there the news as well with cross-link to the website, free of charge. No money you need to put there and no a lot of time. Extend your personal audience when you are talking to the whole world, just check in there at LinkedIn, no cost, and it just brings value. Reposts and likes, you know, to raise up your corporate profile, why not? Advertising, that's interesting things, you know, advertising in LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, that's a B2B network, you know, that has, for many companies, they are targeted on it. It starts at $25. $25 per day. Can you imagine it? It's not comparable at all with international budgets. Why not to try? So the next advice is don't neglect social networks. It will take some time, but if you do it from the very beginning, again, it will save you a lot of money. It will not guarantee you the, you know, bringing the audience. Do not guarantee, but it works. Why not to use channel which might work really? Then few words about fairs and exhibitions, because we are kind of running out of schedule. What you must do the list of all target events in the target regions or globally. So you really literally need to have like Excel table with all the fairs and exhibitions and workshops or forums which are targeted to your particular niche service or product. Just do this. Then must do visit key ones. Just visit. I would recommend to visit, not to put a lot of budget for stand or booth or whatever. Just come there, feel the atmosphere, prepare it in advance. Check the exhibitor list. You will see your competitors there, hopefully. You can come and talk to them. You can see how their stands are working, how many people are there. Sometimes there is a matchmaking system, you know, register to this matchmaking system, try to establish B2B meetings. So just do these simple and not expensive 3 things in the beginning. My doubts is really to exhibit, especially in the beginning. Here on the right side, there are my badges just from September, and they are not all. So I have visited, I think, maybe 8 or 9 or 10. I don't know, maybe remember my colleague how many exhibitions I have visited. And every time talking with the companies who are just starting their internationalization or their business development in the new region, I ask them, what do you do for your internationalization? And they answer me, okay, we came here at the fair. Okay, great. You are coming here to the fair from UK, for example, yeah, to France, for example, yeah, without any interpreter, without any person from where, you know, your French potential customer can buy your product, and with English-speaking materials and spending 30 to 50,000 euro for the stand and spending your own whole week at this fair. Are you serious? And there is just 50-50 result, whether you will get somebody, maybe, or not. Why you are doing this? So my very, very big doubt to exhibit, especially in the very beginning, because in the very beginning, you don't know the region at all. You do not have any connection. You do the connection first, and then you can exhibit maybe with your partner, maybe with somehow, you know, your agent or your subsidiary or whatever. But not from the beginning. That's very expensive, and normally they do not bring a lot of results. So no way you rely and expect, you know, a big results from the exhibition. If you have a spare money, of course you can try, but if not, I would suggest a little bit different approach to do. So pros and cons for the exhibition. Okay, that's expensive. There are no guarantees at all that it will bring you some conversion, and that's time consuming. And pros, okay, you will get some market overview from the exhibition, of course, but you can just visit it, yeah. And if you are already in that market. Then, okay, then it might be a brand awareness, then it might be the meeting with existing customers and market support, etc. But you need to be there already in the market. You need to have at least sales channels established in that market and then to exhibit. So tips and tricks which I can share regarding the exhibiting. Create a long list of the all events. You will know about it. Do prioritization. Visit one or two. Prepare your schedule in advance. Make contacts in advance. No exhibiting in the beginning unless there is one exception, one trick. You check your trade chamber. You check the country trade chamber. Sometimes they do this collective booth and they support manufacturers with exporting and they are sponsoring these little collective, stands. And then, of course, then it makes sense. If you are going with the UK collective pavilion and you have your little, deck with your marketing materials, why not? It will not cost you 30,000 €. It will cost just maybe time of your visit of the fair. And then, of course, then use trade chambers. And you can exhibit after the first steps carefully, but with the local partners. So the conclusion from this long part is, please be realistic with the marketing expectations. So do it in the wise way and you can save a lot of budget here. Very quickly about establishing a subsidiary. Here are some costs on the right-hand side based on the calculation of establishing a subsidiary in UAE, for example, which is maybe not the most expensive region to establish a branch, but still. But the key question, why? Why you need a subsidiary? Answer clearly to this question first before you spending your money. From 20,000 per month, that's true, because you need to share capital, you need an office, you need facilities, you need somebody to be there, and again, we have quite a big expenses. So actually, in terms of finance, we will have the same scalability issue with subsidiary as we discussed with the headquarter. So sales manager can only work 40 hours per week. That's it. Then to expand, you need to grow. You need to hire another sales manager, and you will pay and pay and pay for this. Branding. Okay, branding, this should be done from home. You need to have marketing manager who is targeted to work for the whole world, not only for the home market. We discussed it as well, and then you will save the money. So you don't need to have a subsidiary to have a branding for the particular region. Logistic. Okay, that's a question. In some cases, yes, but in some cases, not necessarily. Finance. I mean, if you are working within Europe, companies can pay you directly. You don't need to establish subsidiary for it. Even I work a lot now with the Middle East region. But I mean, as well, with the UAE companies, for instance, you can work from Europe. If you want to target and to work with some big players like oil and gas companies or governmental companies, but subsidiary will not help because, for instance, let's take an example, oil and gas market, yeah, if maybe somebody is from there. There is ADNOC company in Abu Dhabi, there is Saudi Aramco in Saudi Arabia. Both these companies, they require accreditation and they require that your branch will be based in Abu Dhabi, not even in UAE, just exactly in Abu Dhabi, and accredited by ADNOC, or for Saudi Arabia, the same. For Saudi Aramco, you need to be established in Saudi. It is accredited. So what? You will do like 10 subsidiaries in 10 different, regions and cities? No, it makes no sense. It's very expensive. So for financial procedures, very often you really do not need a subsidiary as well. Local service, okay, again, the big question. Are there a possibility to hire some intermediary company to make a local service on behalf of you? Is it really, really so difficult to train them upon your product or service and make them do this job on site? So there are a lot of question marks for me in establishing a subsidiary from the very beginning. In some cases, you really need it. But in some cases, at least I would really recommend try the market first, and then you go into subsidiary. Because, from the subsidiary, the situation is that if it will not work out, you need to opt out and you need to pay for this as well. So it might be really waste of money. It should be weighted decision. Is it really needed? At least first you talk to the local audience and really understand. Spend at least, I don't know, few months about, in the talking. Do at least first sale without subsidiary, and then you will understand, because it's a lot of money, and yearly like from 200,000 euro as well. Plus you will still be paying for the home structure. So let's talk quickly about my favorite topic, and very quickly, because I will try to devote my next workshops to this topic. Local agents, resellers, dealers, OEM. You remember our structure, this our scheme before, and all the things can be actually replaced by good onboarded sales channels. Between the manufacturer and end customer in whichever country, you can just put a partner in many cases. I would say in most of the cases. And then this local partner, which is self-subsidized company, you do not need to pay for them, yeah? They have the sales people who will go to customer and push them to, to consider your product or project. You see, if it is a good partner, yeah, they might have their own support and implementation team trained by you, and you will not pay anything except, meeting them in your headquarters and spending several days with them for, training and further on support in the, second line support. It will be on charge of your sales partner. Social network also, and marketing, website, social network, fairs and exhibition, most of the good resellers or dealers or distributors, that's their responsibility. They do have it inside their company. And thus, for me, that sounds like a really good plan. The only thing you need to do, you need to establish a good connection and to hire a good international channel sales manager who will take care about these channels in every country of the world. So you need to have the basic home team, and then you need to have some international sales coordinator, and then voila, you just multiply your sales channels for every region, for every country, at almost zero cost. I mean, to me, sounds amazing. And I did it actually. Many times what we are doing now in our company, we are specializing in the channel sales strategy, establishing it, searching channel sales partners, onboarding it, and also managing. So it really works if you do it in the right way. So the last tip for this workshop, whenever possible, you just use sales channel. And to summarize, let's see how to balance, how to profit. And let's summarize our 5 tips. Right time for internationalization. It will save you a lot of money. You use pull strategy, let customer come to you. Social network, be closer to your clients. It won't cost you a lot, but will bring you some interesting contacts. Subsidiary, first answer the question why, and use sales channels whenever possible. And then your savings will be like from 300,000 euro per year. And then the last tip for the very progressive audience, you may use a new SaaS, like use sales as outsourcing, sales as a service. For instance, what we are doing in our company, we do channel sales. We help our customers to establish channel sales in all over the world. We do sales outsourcing. We act as a sales representatives on the part-time basis in particular countries of the world, being the part of your team, and we help to recruit the staff correctly. So for those who would like to discuss this with us, I'm always open. And just comparing with the figures which we just discussed, from our side, we charge sometimes even less, per month, like 2,500 or less for the turnkey local management in the target regions for you. But at the moment, that's the main things which I would like to share with you. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer any questions if there are any questions.